Oh boy, here we go. Rain race. Rain. Okay, let's go look at some quality. Static fiber. Interpol. Static fiber invalidates. We'll jump down to low plays. Low plays is going for his first lap. How are people not in the lobby? That's the wrong person. Okie dokie. Out and around. Little plays. What's our banker lap? It's a 104.5. That'll definitely go a bit quicker. These guys both invalidated. The Haas of Thomas. Good for Inter's pull. He's going to be our banker. Inter's pull lap setter. The 107.6. Next, Alpina Frosties. He's going for an actual lap. Not doing Inter's pull. Down all the way and around. Looks fairly quick. It'll be about a 10th improvement. Good to see. Wheels invalidated. Joshy sets a 108.0. So Thomas really quick on that Inter's pull. Jotty's coming out and around. Sauber driver up to the line is P3. Red Bull's across the line over Sam. He's starting to lap. Mercedes, little plays is going. But people get a little bit more time to do Inter's pull. About a minute. 43. Owen really struggling up to the line, pushing everything. The 108.1. Thomas pushing again. Rassam goes quickest on softs. trying to send out invites. Trying to get invites set out. Okay, Rasam's quickest, Frisky's low plays, Johnny, Bolt, and your Inter's pole sitter is Thomas. Thomas getting Inter's pole. Extra point for him once again. He's gotten 2 of them so far. So far, so good. The ZLM is on a flying lap. Very, very clean corner cut in the last corner. And he'll go up to P6. Bolt went to P5. I didn't even see that. Few on out laps. M&H yet to set a lap. Plays will go to set a lap. So, it's gonna be a wet race, so I think surely everybody's just gonna blow through tires. Plays invalidated. I actually didn't see where that was. Study invalidated. Lemon validated. He's probably out. Cohen's starting a lap now. Oh boy. So Cohen really having to piece this lap together. We got the nice Haas livery with the from Japan. So very interesting. I really like it myself. It's very hard to see when the sun's shining on it. But the Haas car looks really nice with that color. They should just be able to... Ooh, Cohen! They should be able to keep that just for you to use every time with the Haas. Cohen really struggling in that last end of the sector, and it's going to be 104.8. He'll go to P5. Next up, I think is M&H. M&H does go quickest with a 4.25, so he beats Rasam by 0.011. Johnny is next? Oh, yeah, Johnny is next, so Johnny looking to improve time. He's actually down on his lap from sector 2. He will not find improvement. No movement from Thomas. Frosty's on an out lap, so maybe burning fuel again. No movement from what I can see. Derek and AP starting their lap. Or sorry, not Derek, Joshy and AP. Joshy immediately invalidates. Cooley has Not too sure what's happening in the Ferrari. Haas driver Cohen going into the pits. That's something we have to watch, is the pit line during the race. There it goes. AP is on a lap. Up 4/10. The kick driver. He's just struggling a little bit, you know, not pressing on the gas maybe as much as all the other drivers. Up to the line, he does improve by 2.5 tenths. Maybe could have found more time in the lap. And sure what Wheels doing. Ooh, and I think that might be AP. Yep, that is AP off the track. Unless Derek's is on a lap. Derek is on a lap, so Derek's up just about 2 tenths. Debut race for Derek. Honestly, not a bad race to debut in for your team. Traded Mini Rennie to Aston Martin. Goes wide there, somehow doesn't invalidate it. And he invalidates just out of the final corner, maybe a little bit too loose of a car to drive. Static Fiber, though, really struggling. He also invalidated. He turned off his battery. He maybe would have made the corner, but said he completely forgot to turn off the battery, went wide, and that's going to ultimately ruin his lap. Frosty's coming down through the final few corners. He's proving by how much, though, and it's actually not enough. Misses out purple sector 3, so maybe losing out on that middle sector just a little bit too much. Static Fiber has to go back around to the pits. So does Derek. So a lot of guys just chilling. Bolt is the only one that'll be setting a lap on this go around. Transcend night and invite. Where's night? Why do I get 2 alphabetical orders? Brother doesn't even show him anymore, unless he's online. I don't know. Figure it out. I have to send Rennie an invite. Rennie was in, no? Bolt up to the line. Goes a P4. It's a 104.5 flat. So amazing lap from Bolt. He's finally getting a little bit further up on the board in quali. And that's something we can expect from him. It's just maybe a couple of few rough quali sessions. Maybe he excels in Austria as ZLM goes to P7. Yoshi's invalidated his lap again, up 5 tenths. Yoshi has invalidated, so as Joshy's really starting to struggle. Rennie is having connection issues. Thomas on a very nice lap. What can he do? Where can he improve? He'll go to P3, so great lap from him. So amazing lap from Thomas up to P3. Static Fiber will start a lap. I think that's Derek. Yep, Derek saw, and Rennie I think is just clocked out. Derek's starting a lap. There's a whole lot of commotion here. AP's on a lap. Are we gonna see? That Haas isn't getting out of the way if that's Cohen. Yeah, Cohen wasn't really getting out of the way there, so AP's not gonna be very happy. Bunch of guys having connection problems, so EA really not giving anybody any chances today. For some, we'll start a lap. Thomas. Ooh, Derek, a little bit on the edge. As there is a minute 30, so Joshy will not be able to set another lap. Derek is pushing. Derek is pushing. He needs to improve out of P11. On debut, what could he do? It's up to P7. Amazing lap from Derek. And won't go any quicker. He's on an out lap. Cohen's on a lap. He's got AP in front. AP actually gets out of Cohen's way this time. Hello? Hey, how have you done that? Anyways. Static Fiber? No, that's, ZLM's in the pits. So then it's Cohen. Cohen invalidated. So then it's Rassam. Rassam's looking to improve it. He cuts in the final corner, so missing out due to a corner cut. Jody's on an out lap. He's going for his push lap now. AP's going on his push lap now. MNH, no, Priskys is going on his push lap. Ferrari of Wheel is setting his lap. So, Wheel coming out and around. He doesn't have a lap set yet. Up to the line, it'll be a 105.2. It'll only be P12. Vinny Rennie's not able to get out of the pits here. 13 to 16 is solidified, as well as Julia's in P12. Cohen P11. MNH goes wide in the final corner and actually invalidates, so maybe was improving as P11. Everything from 10th and up is up for grabs. Will Plays will not improve. Will Rassam improve? No. Will the kickstopper of Jody? Jody will be the next. He is not improving right now. Out and around through to the final corner. Can he find any time improvement? It's very rough out of the last corner. He will actually find improvement up to P7. Static Fiber, can he find any improvement? It doesn't seem like he has the fuel to do so. Risky's is going to improve, and he'll go quickest, beating his teammate on the last second, so maybe if MNH stuck that lap. And it's an Alpine front row lockout for Austria. And as we sit and wait for MNH's car to retire, there you go. It's an Alpine front row lockout. Rassam falling just a little bit shy of maybe a front row. Thomas P4, Laplace P5. Bolt finally getting the qualifying he would want and needed, up to P6, Jolly P7, Derek P8 on debut, ZLM P9, Fiber P10 with Cohen 11th, Gwill P12, AP P13, Joshi having connection issues, Chungus having the quality ban, and Rennie also having connection issues. So far, just a great start for a bunch of new faces here in Austria. And as we wait, 2-3 more minutes, we look to see who's gonna have issues here. Yeah, videos. Mm. He's sending us pictures of nature. Um, Frisky's saving tires, Cohen saving tires, Wheel saving tires. As we watch these guys go around. Brother. Okie dokie, as we wait for everybody to line up, it's just gonna be Rennie's AI. Surprisingly enough, as we get racing now. Front row lockout for Alpine, and it's 5 red lights for the Austria Grand Prix. And away we go. And it's a really good start from Frosty. It's a great start from Rassam, too. He's going to look down the inside of a MNH, and MNH is going to give it up fairly easily. Bolt's going to look for a move. There's end plates flying. A lot of drivers off the track. And looking to see what happens. And MNH is looking for a move back up to P2. Can he get it done? He will get it done on Rassam. Bolt going a little bit deep. There's a little bit of a car parked behind. No damage so far. I did see somebody's end plate, and I think somebody's in the wall there. Or maybe just in the dirt. Coming down into turn 4. There's... Oh no, Derek's off. Not too sure what's happened there. Maybe just a contact model. But let's take a look at our tires here. Everybody on mediums except for Rennie. Well, he's not here. Guil and Derek. And Derek is off the track, has wing damage, so those hard tires immediately getting dumped off. And I think, does Guil have front wing damage? Not that I can see, but we'll check our way back up to the front as Frisky sets the fastest lap, and he's already broken a second, surprisingly enough. So MNH and Rassam fighting won't be ideal if they want to fight Frosties pretty early here, but DRS is enabled. That will be a factor, no matter where and how you race. As Thomas is parked up in 4th, and any movements, Cohen looking for a move past Joshy, and it's close battling. So we've seen these two on track before. Cohen gets the better of Joshy for now. And position changes wise, Joshy's up 5 already. ZLM's down 4, and Low Place is down 2. Jotty's up 2. So a couple of just front row swaps. As Thomas is looking for a move on MNH, maybe just getting really pushy. He's got more battery, so it's understandably shown. As Frosties goes even quicker, Rassam will chunk 2/10 past that. As Static Fiber goes into the pits, does he have wing damage for a chance? Well, I'll take a look as he comes in. Doesn't seem to be. He's just coming off these tires for some reason. MNH passed Rassam on the DRS straight. And these two fighting deep into the corners, actually giving Frosties one hell of a gap. Rassam maybe looking for a move, doesn't get it done. Joshi and Cohen consistently fighting again. Low plays past Bolt. Maybe just a little bit too much contact for maybe Bolt's liking. But low plays gets the move done as ZLM passed AP down into turn 3. So ZLM starting to make moves from what he lost. And Cohen's getting past Bolt, so Bolt's had a big moment here. And Chungus is going to look for a move too. Quali ban Aston Martin, and Bolt's just dropped really far out of it. Went from P6 all the way down to P10, so, I mean, no damage from what I can see. Maybe just struggling with the track, and Rassam's been passed by Thomas. So Thomas having the battery influx compared to Rassam, and here he goes on MNH. I don't think MNH is going to fight it too hard, knowing how strong the DRS is, and maybe Rassam looking for a move down the inside. A Daniel Ricciardo type send, very, very bold, but MNH will hold on to his podium spot for now as Rassam actually looks down the inside once again. Jotty's starting to struggle, MNH and Rassam really starting to fight here, but MNH will stay ahead, having more of that momentum and a little bit more battery as Thomas is starting to slip from their grasp ahead. Frosty's 2.3 in the lead. Derek is the first to get a 3-second Cohen past Jotty, so Jotty's also starting to struggle now. And Joshi is so far so good. Bolt is very, very loose with his car. Very, like, really starting to struggle right about now. As we look further up, Rassam off the track. Cohen gets a 3 seconds, so the penalties are going to start to line up, start to go absolutely crazy here, and Rassam might be under threat from Low Plays. It's the end of this straight here, as MNH is really pushing very hard, and Joshi side by side with Jotty, and Joshi's got more battery to do so, and he moves up into P7. Chungus, though, is on his way. Derek pits again. So Derek not really having a fun time here. And let's look a little further up once again. These guys all fighting for this P2 spot. Frosty's 2.5 up the road, so he's sitting around the same pace as everybody else. I mean, his last lap was a 8.7, and Thomas was a 9.0, but gotta remember about the DRS, as Derek is retired in the pits. The damage ultimately taking him out of this race, as MNH is not being able to get past Thomas anymore, really. Maybe the tires going offline. I mean, MNH is going to struggle the most out of these three because he's been pushing so hard. And Low Plays might be able to capitalize off of this because he can tell Rassam and MNH are struggling. Cohen isn't too far back either, and Joshi is also struggling, but he's also on the brink of these drivers. I mean, Train from P2 goes all the way down to P9. ZLM's just outside of it. Bolt is pitting. You can see him following the rules and the orders. AP maybe caught a little bit of that entry, and that's the only problem, is if you're close behind somebody who's going into the pits, you might get messed up just a little bit by them. But Bolt will be your first to take a pit stop off the mediums onto the hards. So there is our first pitter, and like I said, Low Plays maybe wanted to move on Rassam. He's gonna look for it, and he absolutely just dumps Thomas. So MNH getting past Rassam and Thomas, and Low Plays looking for a move on Rassam, completely just dumps off Thomas there. Oh my god. And how has he done that? And so Thomas now, major setback. And Frisky's, his gap is up to 2.8, and M&H almost broke from Cohen there, but right now on track, it is a theoretic Alpine 1, 2, 3. Cohen is in the Haas reserving, and Low Plays is going to have a great charge at Cohen. Cohen obviously gonna have until next straight, but he does have a helping hand from his teammate, I guess you could say. But look at the straight line speed on that Haas. Oh my lord, and Cohen is running some crazy wings here. And it doesn't seem like Low Plays can even get close there. Thomas making his first place back up to P9, and he will catch these guys pretty quickly. Thomas has the pace to do so. He's feeling very good today, you can tell. And Joshy looking for a move on Low Plays. As long as Low Plays doesn't take out another driver, it'll be a clean move from Joshy, and just behind Chungus getting past Jody. So Chungus starting to work his car up into this midfield as Frisky's sketches out 3.2 seconds. He's starting to stretch out these tires, really starting to push as M&H goes off the track. I mean, Frosty's just chilling. He's just sitting on hot lap, and Thomas is the first to pull the plug. He got dumped off pretty early, so he's gonna try this undercut. He needs to try something after getting dumped off like that, but there will be a penalty coming Low Plays' way, as Cohen is gonna sit to none. I mean, he's just gonna work with his teammate here. And does Joshy look for a move? Cohen goes defensive down the inside, goes Joshy, and it's not gonna be enough. And coming out of the corner, it's a traction race, and Cohen just has him beat. The wings just absolutely plastering him forward. And Low Plays is getting ever so closer. This is the closest we've seen everybody so far in this fight for P2. Everybody's so close. Jody just maybe losing out. But as we can see, our second pitter, Thomas, is onto hards, looking to run it long here and then go on to these new tires. Does anybody from this group pit? Joshy might have had a look. Low Plays will, Rasam will, Chungus will have to bear the fact that these guys are going into the pits. Jody gets a 3-second. These guys following their rules and orders. So Rasam and Low Plays will go in together. Jody gets a 3-second. And Chungus maybe dropped off just a little bit too much, going off the track there, having to take the escape road. And Jody's just barely out of it. Chungus not getting DRS, and Cohen looking for a move. Joshy almost running into the back of the Alpine driver. And Frosty's with a 3.7 lead now. As Joshy's prepped his way up into P4. Chungus P5. And a little bit further back, Bolt is past Static Fiber. So Static Fiber having a brilliant race day in Spa. Nothing for him at the moment right now as Rasam gets past Low Plays. So these two both come out of the pits on fresh, hard tires, immediately fighting for position, trying to get moves done, trying to move up the track as Joshy gets past M&H into the pits. Cohen will also go into the pits, so inevitably Cohen getting past M&H will give him position long term. And Frosty's not sure, maybe going for a 1-stop, is it possible, or is 2-stop the ideal strategy? He's got a 5-second gap, and Chungus and Joshy, the two people who, one had connection issues, two had a quali ban, and three are title confiders for this race, are on a move. Thomas gets a 3-second. Cohen comes out just ahead of Rasam. So amazing pit stop for Cohen, and M&H is just on the back of this train. So M&H, although he lost that position to Cohen, there's a move for Thomas, and he hits the back of Rasam. He's gonna get wing damage, and Thomas, who's just come onto these new tires, now has wing damage. Maybe being a little bit too quick onto the brakes, and M&H absolutely taps the back of Thomas. And Rasam loses out to Low Plays, so a lot of controversy early on. Frosty's into the pits, he's followed his rules. Chungus into the pits, and Joshy will keep going on these medium tires, maybe looking to do a one-stop Joshi. It'll be hard, but it's definitely possible. As Thomas has been dumped off twice now by two guys. M&H gets a 3-second for corner cutting. We've just seen that. And where will Frisky's come out in comparison to Cohen? And Thomas is just going to retire in the pits. He's been dumped off 2 times. He's had enough. And Frisky's and Cohen work together pretty much every single week. Come out neck and neck, these two. One with fresher tires than the other. And Frosty's will just sit behind as his teammate not too far back. And Rassam get a little bit of a tap from Lil Plays. So not the cleanest of driving right now. And M&H will look for a move. He'll get the move done. Will he get 2? And he does. As Frosty's gets past Cohen, M&H into P4. And this time chunk that Joshi has is just so slim. And if he pits now, and which he will, it's going to be a lot of cars he has to get past. Very clean. All the way into the entry. He's taking it very cautiously. As long as he doesn't speed, we're A-okay. M&H 1.2. And I kind of feel bad for Thomas. As where will Joshi come out? He's gonna come out in P7, right behind Chungus. And behind Chungus, so Chungus on warm, hard tires. Jody is on, I think similar lapped tires. Yeah, just an extra lap. So Jody's gonna have warmer tires. Will retire in the pits. So everybody who finishes will have points. Mini Rennie will not be included in this points total since he's not here. So if you finish the race, you got points. As Cohen sits behind Frosty's, M&H maybe looking for a lead closer into this top 3, maybe hoping for his team. Static Fiber gets a 3-second, and I'm starting to struggle here. Even though he's got DRS, Chungus gets the fastest lap. Even though Rassam has DRS, he's really falling farther and farther away from M&H, but that's the difference in the tires. Mediums for the top 3, then hards literally the rest of the way down. We take a look at the tires. Hards all the way down to P10, and then AP and Static Fiber as Joshi gets past Jody. It was about time the new tires kicked in. And these hard runners will just go for a longer stint, as Rassam is probably going to get dropped off this lap as M&H tries to get himself closer. ZLM and Bolt fighting. Bolt, amazing move down the inside, getting past ZLM, obviously on 4-lap newer tires, and these two are having an amazing side-by-side battle. Neither one wants to give it up, and ZLM will later. ZLM having to give it up. Jody getting a 3-second. And ZLM's starting to struggle now. Joshi gets the fastest lap. And M&H is getting closer to this front group. Rassam somehow still in this DRS range, so dumping everything to stick with the Alpine driver. And Cohen and Frosty is just starting to work together. Cohen obviously on the controller. He's going to have higher tire wear, so it's going to be a little bit more costly to the Haas driver's disposal. But so far so good, and M&H is still really trying to push. But Frosty's just has brilliant pace right now. Same with Cohen. Cohen's got an amazing pace. But Cohen's starting to struggle tire-wise compared to Frosty's. Frosty's is much newer by I think about 2 or 3 laps. Just about 1 lap. Same with M&H though. M&H is only 1 lap older than Frosty's. As I think Cohen's been officially dumped off. Yeah, Cohen has been dropped by Frosty's, and that's what's given M&H DRS. And we might have a change in positioning here, but Cohen a little bit too far back. I think Frosty's maybe sent none to help out his teammate here. Will Cohen get DRS on this straight? It doesn't seem to be. It's a little bit too far fetched. And MNH and Ratham, followed by Little Plays, will inch a little bit closer. And Bolts gets past ZLM, so these two having a moment into turn number 3. Not too sure what happened. I saw ZLM's car was ghosted, so maybe because of the contact model. Oh man. I don't know. Frosty's starting to stretch out this lead. It's now about 1.8 MNH. When does he go? When does Rassam go? And when does Little Plays, who has more battery than the two in front of him, go? But Cohen isn't very pretty on battery, 50%. And Little Plays maybe sign up for an exit as MNH hits the back of Cohen, and that maybe messes up Rassam a little bit as Little Plays gets a free move. And will he look for another one? He thought about it, but maybe not. ZLM and Bolt. This is the story of the day, these two fighting. These two going back and forth for P9. So it's an interesting battle. These two keeping it very clean, very fair. Overtakes are as ZLM gets a 3-second and Little Plays really starting to get a move on, gets past MNH, and he's gonna look towards Cohen, but MNH not giving it up fairly easily. And MNH not gonna give it up too early. Gonna keep bringing the fight, the Alpine driver. But Frosty's gap is 2 seconds. So far, it's just been good for him. Little Plays maybe gonna look for a move. Rassam gets past MNH. Where does this come from? It was completely off the track. MNH starting to struggle with these tires. Is he gonna get a move? But here comes Joshy! Here comes the McLaren driver, so Static Fiber retiring on track. He's maybe had enough. And this may start to cause problems here. People might start slowing each other down with his midfield battling. Joshy and Rassam actually touching. Starting to wheel bang here, and Cohen and Little Plays are getting into it. Cohen gets the better of Little Plays. And Cohen might just be the one determining the pace in this train. You can see Little Plays is all over the back of Cohen. These hard tires are really kicked up into overdrive, and he wants to go. He wants to go now. But battery may be a primary talking point of why and how Little Plays can't get by, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be much of an issue down into turn 1. He's going to look for a move. Cohen's going to give it fairly easily. He won't get DRS. He's going to get passed by potentially Joshy here too, and Rassam. So Cohen from second. Is he going to lose a lot more? Let's jump on board with MNH. We're going to see 3 wide into turn 3. And Chungus hits the back of... there's a lot of mayhem here in this midfield. A lot of time is going to be lost between these guys. Everybody scrapping for position. It's a great fight. Is there any damage? No, no damage. I mean, fairly clean. Besides, like, a couple of bits of wheel banging. But Joshy up into P2, but 2.7 to Frosty's, and these hard tires need to start putting in a shift. As Cohen just sits in P3, Will plays P4, Rassam P5, and MNH takes his leave into the pits. It's hard tire time for the Alpine driver, and you can see how grained that medium tire is, and he will be the first out of the medium hard runners to pit onto these hards. And the undercut might work him favors as Cohen and Little Plays. Cohen getting past Little Plays. As Joshy's just dropped them off the hard tires. Like I said, needed to put in a shift, and they're putting in quite a good one as Cohen is going to get switchbacked by Little Plays. Is he going to fight it all the way through? It's going to be close. And down into the fourth corner. Cohen will lose out. It actually hits the side of Rassam's car. Not have any traction in those tires anymore, and Chungus will also get the move done, so likely to see Cohen pit here as the gap from Friskies to Joshy is 2 seconds, and then to Little Plays an extra second, and 7 to 8 tenths. As Cohen, yep, he will pit. Frosty's will pit too, so this is interesting. Just after his teammate, maybe looking to protect by pitting, but you have to realize that these guys all out right now from P4 and up. And Johnny too are on hard tires, so they will need to pit again for mediums. As ZLM, does he pose any threat to Frosty's? Yeah, ZLM will be ahead. Low Plays gets a 3-second. MNH will come out. He will be P9 behind Bolt. Cohen will be P10. And we'll check a little further ahead as Low Plays and Chungus maybe doing a little bit of fighting. Rassam got past Low Plays and dropped them 1.7, and then Rassam is now 3 seconds back on Joshy, so all that wheel banging starting to cause some people some tire wear, some time, some battery, so, and Joshy's favorite out of it the best. And MNH and Bull going at it, and not too sure what's happened, but MNH involved in a conflict with Bolt, and Bolt was spun round. And we'll have to see post-race pens what's happened between them, but no damage on either of their cars, as Cohen has wing damage. Front right is missing, as Rassam and Lil Plays will pit. Frosty's will, soar past them, so will MNH. But it's only a matter of time before those medium tires really start to kick in. Maybe about halfway through this lap, and you're going to see Rassam chunk down that 2.5 second gap. And Bolt will go into the pits. I think he's pitting off his tires here, as Joshy has 6 seconds to Chungus, and then another 5 seconds to Jody, and then 4 to ZLM. So spanning of about a pit stop will get Joshy down to about P7, maybe just about P6, depending on when he pits. He's gonna keep going though. Chungus will keep going, Jody will keep going, ZLM will keep going, but he's gonna give Frosty's this DRS, so he's pretty much a sitting duck, and Rassam hasn't made much work this lap, so the medium tires maybe will come into play the following lap. As Cohen has this wing damage, Frosty's actually didn't get DRS on this main straight here, this main DRS straight. He'll get on the back straight, but Cohen with this wing damage on hards is starting to pressure Rassam just a little bit. Quite interesting, to say the least. Even though Cohen's tires are older, Frosty's gonna get a move done on ZLM. As Cohen is really bringing a fight to Rassam, even though he doesn't have the the wing to fully turn his car in some parts of the track. He's really bringing a fight. And as you can see, there's that wing deficit, and Cohen's going to be struggling on that for the rest of the race. I mean, you got 11 laps to go. And Jody goes into the pits. P3 off the hards, onto mediums. He's going to do 11 laps on these medium tires when he gets them on. And Cohen gets another 3 second, and that will inevitably hurt him long term. As we watch and wait to see when Joshy pulls the plug. Bolt gets another 3 second. And Friskies is only 8.5 seconds off of Chungus. And then another 5 to Joshy. As Bolt sets the fastest lap, and that's pace we like to see out of Bolt, but it's just a little bit unfortunate with what may have happened, and Bolt gets a 3 second into turn 1. Joshy going another lap. Does Chungus go another lap? He will as well. Rossi's NMNH starting to put in a great shift here, and Rassam's actually lost a lot of time to M&H on these actually on hards. I just have seen. I thought Rassam would go mediums, but Rassam, one of the only drivers who goes harder tire allocation, so very interesting strategy. He will be better off tire wear to the end than the 2 Alpines ahead of him, but he's gonna make up a 3.5 second gap. It's doable for a driver of Rassam's caliber. It's just a matter of how quickly can he do it without ripping up his tires, and Cohen is still here. Cohen is not going to give it to Rassam very easily. He's going to keep charging down these straights. I mean, his top speed is going to be significantly quicker. Going to the outside is Cohen. Rassam leaving him the room. It's going to be fair fights all the way down through the second sector, and Rassam's just going to give it up, and that might be posing a problem for Rassam, because look how much slower this Haas is without the wing damage, and there's the dirty air kicking into effect as Chungus pulls the plug. Chungus into the pits. Takes out the braking board, or the breaker board. Now he's got cardboard all under his car. And Friskies will move ahead onto the medium tires. He's had a slow stop there. He's kind of held up a little bit. Maybe messing up his exit, but he will come out in P7. Jody sets the quickest lap as we clicked onto him. M&H is starting to charge forward. Rassam seems like he doesn't have the top speed to catch up to Cohen, even though Cohen's tires are older by a couple of laps here. Rassam can't even get close with the DRS and battery. The dirty air, you can see, he's trying to get away, he's trying to get a bit of clean air on his wing, and Cohen, the reserve Alpine driver, might be a big factor on why Friskies and M&H could do such a great job here, as Joshy has 9 laps to go. He's into the pits. Is it too late to pit here, or is this a masterclass strategy from Joshy, as Friskies and M&H inch ever so closer lap after lap? Joshy is on to these medium tires. Where will he come out? I can only assume maybe about P7 or P6, sorry. As you see, Lil Please come across the final corner, and he will be ahead of Joshy. Joshy won't get any slipstream, any battery. And Chungus has been dropped off here, so Chungus having a little bit of a moment, not too sure where he fell short. But Joshy will immediately look to move past the drivers ahead, as Lil Please crept up to the back of Rassam due to Cohen kind of having the swing damage, being slower in that second sector. But Joshy's about to face reality. Lil Please is about to face the reality, and you can tell the dirty air is really throwing Rassam for a spin here, as Joshy's gonna look for a move. He's gonna go alongside of this Mercedes car, and he'll get the move done fairly early, getting that just one place closer to the podium. And he's doing everything he can to just minimize points, as I'm going to take a look at the penalties here. Rassam is sitting with none at the moment, so he is sitting the best. Outside of Friskies, Friskies also has none. But Rassam just needs to stick with Joshi, and then he'll have a free podium, it seems to be. Cohen has 6 seconds, Laplace has 6 seconds, Chungus has 3 seconds, but Chungus is starting to strive back into form here. The fact that these guys are also clumped up, Cohen's straight line is just absolutely insane, and the hard tires are at their peak performance right now for Cohen. They're sitting about 34%, whereas Rassam's sitting about 22%. Joshi's sitting on 5% medium tires. Joshi gonna look for a move, can't really do too much with it, and Lopez is gonna continue to just sit behind here. As Rassam getting passed by Joshi, I mean, it's 2 times Joshi's made an overtake through the second sector, 1 lap at a time, and Cohen's now got a serious problem. He got one of the quickest guys on track, if not the quickest guy on track, in his rearview mirror. And he's got to deal with him soon. It's just a matter of when. Lil Plays is going to start pressuring Rassam. Joshi hits the back of Cohen. Not completely sure. But Cohen's going to immediately look to fight back. Doesn't seem like he'll be able to do too much. That's to none, and he'll just follow behind, but as you can see, that wing damage struggling to turn, and it's just the grip difference. But yeah, I mean, Joshi's just gonna drop them off pretty quickly here, so Rassam and Low Blaze, their best interest is to get past this Haas driver that has wing damage, and I feel like we've been watching this trade for so long, but it's the only close thing on track right now, outside of the Alpines. And there goes Joshi, and he's broken a second. And that's gonna be pretty well said for the top 4. Rassam's gotta go now if he even wants a chance, and he knows it. Rassam's gonna start pushing. Check on board with Lil Blaze. Cohen has to go a little bit wide, but Rassam knows he has to go now. He doesn't care about DRS, he doesn't care about waiting. He's gotta go if he wants this move done. And Cohen gonna sit just right behind, going a little bit deep, and Lil Blaze looks to capitalize. What the hell just happened? Cohen maybe losing the car a little bit, not too sure, I honestly don't know. Cutting across Lil Blaze. Very, very interesting. Lil Blaze starting to struggle on these tires, everybody's starting to struggle. And Rassam is 2.4 behind Joshi. As Friskies and M&H, these two are gonna have to start to work together. Friskies is a lot better tire wear wise than M&H. But Joshi is really starting to creep up. But it's the 3-second penalties that hurt these drivers in the second and third position. But you can tell Joshi's just got this amazing pace on the medium tires. How will it fare for him in the final few laps? Not too sure, but we'll just have to sit here, wait and see. As long as he doesn't get another penalty, he will be pretty smooth sailing, as Rassam is now about 3 seconds back, and he's really starting to push. He's about to drop Cohen. Lil Blaze maybe wants to get an action move in, and Chungus has crept up to the back of this train finally. Trying to put some work in. But as you can see, Cohen just pulling away with that top speed. And Rassam is really starting to fall short without this DRS here. About 3.7 back now, so it's up to Joshi's tire fall off for maybe Rassam sneaking into the podium as Bolt goes into the pits. Will Bolt go for the fastest lap? I would assume so. Joshi has it, or Jody has it right now. So maybe being informed to go for the fastest lap. And Chungus getting past Lil Plays. Is he gonna stick it all the way? Lil Plays has a moment, losing the rear, so these tires are really, really far gone. And this might open an opportunity for Jody long term as M&H and Joshi get ever so slightly closer. The battery difference is monstrous, though. Joshi only has a fraction of what the two ahead have. It's 10% to about 50 for each. I mean, they're sitting well pretty. And Joshi maybe looking for some fake moves, making some pressure Gonna get alongside for a moment there, but he doesn't have the battery to do anything. And that's what's gonna run him short for a couple of laps here. And there's only 3 to go. He's gonna keep punching, because the later he makes a move, the worse these medium tires will be, and he's starting to get to a point where they're gonna start to struggle. We're reaching about 30% on these medium tires. And he's starting to go into battery saving mode. Don't have much time left to do it, but this is giving Rassam a great inch closer as the sky gets darker. We knew there was going to be a chance of rain at the end of the race. 60% chance of rain at this given time. 2 laps to go. As Joshi looks for a move, the battery just doesn't compare. M&H sees it late dive down the inside. Joshi, will he get the move done? As of right now, yes, he does have the move done. M&H, will he have any combating words? Yes, he's got battery to say, and he'll move himself back up down the inside. A little bit of a lockup. These two are going side by side. This is going to give Frosties a great pull. M&H keeping his car ahead for the time being. Down the inside goes Joshi. These two side by side. It's a brilliant battle for P2 for a podium spot. That's what they're fighting for with these penalties. And Rassam's within the 3-second. Rassam is in dangerous territory, and he can snag some extra free points away as we head on to the penultimate lap. Joshi's tires starting to get up there. They're starting to wear. Is he going to look for a move into turn 1? He will. Down into turn 1. Friskies, maybe a little bit more momentum on the outside, but he doesn't have the DRS. And all this fighting is really going to hurt them. Rassam might be in for a podium spot. Frosties is going to stick it maybe down the outside. A little bit of wheel banging, a little bit of shoving. Friskies gets absolutely dumped off by M&H. by Joshi, and M&H gets past Joshi. Hello? And M&H having a little bit of a moment there. But Frosty, all he has to do is just stick behind these two, and he'll have the win. As long as he doesn't get a penalty. And Rassam is in striking distance. He's at 3.1. So Rassam just needs to put in a hell of a final lap. As Low Plays gets a 3-second, and we are heading into the final lap of the race. And Frosty, as you can tell, is taking it very, very cautiously. Could this be his first race win in RRL in Frosties? The Alpine driver. M&H gets another 3 seconds, so he will fall out of... I think... He's gonna fall all the way down to P... No, I think he might keep P4. It depends on where Chungus is at the end of this race. ZLM gets another penalty. And Friskies is just putting a shift in. And depending on how far back Chungus finishes, M&H might end up P5 at the end result of this. He might try to get a penalty off. Friskies just sitting well behind. Gap is 1.1. Joshi's trying everything he can to make this gap possible. Friskies, all he has to do is just finish across the line without getting a warning, without getting a penalty. Joshi will finish ahead on track, but it'll be Friskies' day as Joshi gets a 3-second. Friskies will have his first win in RRL, and it's in Austria. Rassam up to P2, Joshi down to P3, Chungus P4, M&H getting that 3-second once again, maybe able to get that removed. Cohen P6, Lil Plays P7. ZLM will come across the line, P8. And Jody P9, AP will finish P10, And Bolt's gonna finish P11, so points for everybody. Rennie will not get those points. And there it is. Jody will have the fastest lap. Joshy, ultimately, stellar drive for him. I mean, from a rough quali all the way up to the front. Just a stellar day. And that will be Austria.